Hi guys, welcome back to Social Talks. So for episode 2 today, we're actually covering mental health and focusing on depression among college and university students. Now we have actually invited IMU's very own school counselor, Miss Ain, to be the guest of today's show. Now Miss Ain is actually a graduate of University of Science Islam Malaysia with a master's in counseling specializing in family counseling. Miss Ain has been a counselor for the past 5 years, and she doesn't only provide counseling services to its IMU students, she also provides them to any of IMU members, meaning lecturers or even administrative members. So, with that, let's welcome Miss Ain. So, hi Miss Ain, welcome to the Social Talk episode 1. Before we start on today's main topic, do you mind if I ask you some questions about yourself?
Oh, yes, can.
So, did you always want to be a counselor?
Mm, okay, this question is a bit, you know, I think, of course, I'm a counselor. Yeah, technically, I'm a counselor. So I think since young, I never thought that I'm gonna be a counselor. Yeah, but by the way, I kind of admit that I love to like to spend time with family, with friends. Sometimes I do listen to them, right? But I think once I grew up, and I think because last time, right, in our public uni, right, we just put whatever thing that we want to do to pursue for our degree life, right? I just put, of course, counseling is not like my top option. It's like, I think maybe like a second last, something like that. And finally I got I got it. So meaning, at first I always wanted to be a teacher lah, but I think the fate has destined me to become a counselor. So here I am today. But I think after, for how many years already, right? I think I'm I like this nature of job lah, because I found it's like it's quite meaningful lah. That's how I see it.
So, you mentioned that you wanted to be a teacher, right? Is it like you like working with students or like
I
kids in
think,
general?
yeah, I think kind of, right. I think I love to, I'm like a quite social, social type of person. I mean, like, I love gathering. I love to enriching. To teach. To that kind of nature lah. So that's why I think, of course, being with student also is one of my favorite. Working with a young adult or young teenagers is always my passion lah. That's how I see myself.
Like, if you got to actually teach, what subject would you pick?
What do you think, Sam?
Um, you have like the English teacher vibe.
Okay, I can consider that. But I think I would prefer to teach, bahasa, or maybe bahasa Malay, or history, right? You never imagine that I love history so much. Okay.
My experience is sejarah teachers are all very scary.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think that is, I mean, history and also bahasa might be things, the subject that I could consider of lah. Yeah.
So, now that you are counselor, like how long have you been working for IMU?
Actually, technically, I'm working with IMU almost 5 years already. I joined IMU in 2017, 2017, right? And this is my fifth year, so called, right? 2021. And actually, I become counselor for 6 years lah. Still young, still learning, still young as in my experience lah. I'm not young anymore, right? So I'm just, I mean, can say like not more than 10 years, going to still learning, and also catching up with a lot of, I mean, things that I should learn from now on. But anyway,
Like,
I'm happy. Mm-hmm.
would you suggest the IMU students or students in general to actually pursue a counseling degree? Would it be like, should,
Oh, I think for IMU, right, I know you guys know, actually IMU we don't offer counseling, right? But in IMU underscore medicine, we have psychology, right? Psychology course. So of course, I think I always encourage you guys, if you want to learn any subject related to mental health or maybe counseling, about listening skills, psychology is part of it lah. Because I think psychology you will learn not only like about how human behave, how human thinking, and also about their feeling. We also learn a lot of about human dynamic lah, basically. I think by learning that, you also will able to understand yourself better. I think that's the uniqueness that I could think of lah, right? And of course, I think it's not to say encourage everyone, but I think this is also like some human skills that you can gain throughout learning this kind of courses, especially like counseling, psychology, and the rest lah. So I think as maybe some of you guys, I think IMU, we are quite well known with the healthcare, dentistry, medicine student. Of course, this is all about human interaction as well, because you guys gonna see your patient, right? So some of these skills are very essential. I know some of the courses they also offer like maybe like mini counseling module or listening module, something like that. That's how I
Like,
see it.
would you like describe your current work life as interesting?
Okay. I think like I said earlier, right, I found that this job is quite meaningful, because I think we have been trained to accept whoever our client is. Lah. I mean, in whatever condition they are. Lah. We should we shouldn't judge them, thing and stuff. So I think, every of them, like every single of them have their own story, lah, and life story. And also throughout their experience, also we learn a lot of things about life, lah, basically. So I think, a lot of people at certain point of their life, right, they might be struggle, they might be lost, they might also even want to improve better for their betterment of life, right? So, being a part of their life journey or like life transition as someone that guide them and also be there with them when they need us, I feel like is some sort of like accomplishment. Of course, we are not like I think because we play some important part in their life lah. That's how I see. Maybe not like a lot, maybe just a little, but I think when they say they come back to you, they say, "Hey, Miss, I think that I'm feeling much better after talking to you. Thank you so much for your guidance. That can make my whole day already." So I think it makes my day lah. I mean, with these little things lah.
Okay. So like moving on to like the main topic. So being a counselor for IMU, how often do our students actually come and like ask for help or like advice regarding their mental health and all those?
Yeah, I think I am a student. I can say their awareness is pretty high, because I think it might be caused because of like SDU, self development unit, which is our counseling unit in IMU. We do actually do a lot of reach out program or outreach program. Like I think maybe for you, Sam, if you notice right nowadays SDU we are doing NEC guideline. I think which I mean every student must attend this briefing, so we're gonna let you know how to get help when it's needed, and also how to help your friend if they are in a need, right? So other than that, of course, I think SRC and also Student Service Hub, we highly encourage students to come and talk about their mental health state with the professional lah. I think some students, right, they have this awareness and they are willing to come to see counselors lah. So basically, our office is always busy. I can say that. I mean, they must in every month must got new clients lah registered through our either our student portal website, or also they come and reach out to us via SDU email lah. So that's how I can say also.
So it's like most of the time they come in on their own will, like they just walk in.
Oh, some of them they are come on their own way. I mean, they themselves just want to get help, right? And of course, some they just walk in. Some also got referral from lecturer or mentor as well. But I think it's very few lah. I mean, I think it got some cases lecturer refer, or maybe mentor refer, or faculty refer. But some is actually a lot of them based on and in my observation, and also my own client, usually they come in their own initiative lah.
So when the pandemic came around, right, was there a rise in cases?
Mm. Actually, right, I think when pandemic happened, the first year, I could say that it is not as high. I mean, because the first pandemic, right, I think people are still adapting. Some student maybe, they try to adapt with the whole transition of learning, from physical to face. And of course some of client maybe, right, they are not really into online session, and of course some they really still prefer like physical engagement. But I think the second year of pandemic, we start seeing it that it has become a rise a bit lah. I mean, the case is like getting lot more lah. Yeah. So basically, right, I think maybe the second year of pandemic, after so long, like people get drained already, right? Of online classes again and again. Some couldn't adapt, because after pandemic happened, there are a lot of like life changes, especially, people cannot meet up each other. People can a lot of restriction, a lot of limitation in their life. So all the stress level has been goes up lah. So that's why some students they couldn't cope with that. So that's why they realize that they need help lah. Mm.
So, I mean, like our episode is based on depression amongst college and university students. Like, could you give a short explanation on how it's commonly presented among the youngsters?
Okay, so I think I can share with you some statistic based in Malaysia, right? So the prevalence in Malaysia, basically 1 out of 5 teenagers, right, experience symptom of depression. Experience, 1 out of 5. I mean, it's like, it's quite high, we can say, right? 2 in 5 has anxiety. Maybe 5 of you in front, in a bunch of friends, maybe either us or either another friends, 2 of us might have anxiety, and 1 in 10 has stress. I think now the statistic, I think the recent one, people say like 1 out of 3, got depression. So you see, Anna, I mean, how the depression rate and also the mental health kind of like a issue in Malaysia has been rise up lah. I think it's not just about a college student. I think pandemic, right, a lot of statistic has come out. A lot of people, take their own life, which is, I think, suicide rate also has increasing from now. And I think, it's something that a bit alarming lah. So that's why, this kind of, mental health talk, or, we should talk about all these things, the awareness. So at least we can prevent from worst thing to happen lah. This is how I see.
So it is pretty popular among the kids that they have these kind of things. But would you say like what are the common triggers of this happening?
Okay, so the common triggers, especially the youngster, is it, or the teenagers? Okay. So I think some of the common factors is actually, especially among teenagers, right? I think one, they might find themselves a lot of insecurities lah. That's how I see. They always think that, oh, I'm no good. I'm always like a lot of things that I couldn't achieve. Maybe, I think now the impact of social medias play a lot of important role. I think as a youngster, all of them must have for sure. How many social media accounts they must have? Instagram, TikTok, what else? Twitter. Sometimes a lot of people, right, they used to portray, all the good life in Instagram, all fancy stuff, and then for some who couldn't afford, maybe they have like a very fragile, right? They always think, oh, why they are like that, why she's is so pretty, why I am not. A lot of things like they tend to compare themselves with other people lah. Okay, so another thing, how do I see is like the triggers? It could be like a, especially college student, like it could be their academic performance, or maybe too much stress or overload with stuff, right? Because I hear a lot of young people complain the pandemic, right? It doesn't mean like you are more chill, a lot of classes you have to catch up, a lot of things, you have to look around, especially the module, the assignment. It has been adding up more, right? Instead of like you come to class, you go home and you just revise, that's it. But now some is recorded, some you have to put like a reflection essay and so on. So the workload has been increasing lah. Another thing, I think maybe the poor coping and also stress management skill lah. So a lot of nowadays I see the youngster, right, they are just too indulged in themselves. I mean, with the self indulge, I mean that it is a good thing actually, but sometimes they are not reaching out, they are not willing to talk about it, you know, they just keep it on their own, and also they are just in their own world. This is how I see, you know. I think at the end, right, life must have some sort of balance lah. You know, in whatever things you want to do, whether your physical health, your mental health, and also the things that you want to do lah, right? So some students, they just, you know, indulge within their own area, you know, but they are not reaching out, they are not making friends, and that's why sometimes people complain, I'm just lonely, I don't know. But some people also, when they have another sort of issue, like maybe existencing issue, like as maybe previous trauma or stressor, this one has need to be different treatment plan lah, you know. Some, you know, they just feel like too much lah, right, and they couldn't handle. So I think it just started with normal stress lah. Every of us, we faces stress in our life, right? If you're not managing your stress, and of course maybe stress got too tight, right? Eustress and distress. Eustress is the good stress, distress is a stress that negative stress lah, you know. Let's say, you know, some people, they couldn't handle the, you know, pressure or crisis, and then it kind of like affecting them so much. What is good stress is actually, let's say, oh, you are having exam, and also you are have, you know, the urge to perform well, so it's a good stress because it's kind of like a making you able to achieve some direction, right? So that's why this is some of the factors that could trigger the young people nowadays lah.
So, like just now, you mentioned that we actually don't approach people, we don't make friends and all those, and then we don't want to open up, right? So, like, what happens to people that have a problem with opening up? Like, they don't want to talk to their parents because it's too. They feel like it's too minor of a thing to tell the parents and burden the parents, but they don't want to tell a stranger, meaning like a counselor or just like call for help through the online hotlines. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you suggest they take a different path instead? Like, is there another way they can do it?
Yeah. So actually, right, of course, you know, especially counseling, right, we cannot push people, we cannot force people to go and seek for counseling help. But by the way, seeking mental health professional is a good, it's a good start, you know. I think it's a good step ahead that you can just further explore about yourself, about your situation. But nowadays, young people, like you say, like, you know, I think because there are a lot of stigma regarding mental health still lah, you know. Once people get to know, oh, why you are meeting psychiatrist, why you are meeting clinical psych, why you are meeting counselor, or you know, some people think that, oh, those people who are seeking help is a very weak as a person lah. So a lot of people, they stigmatize, you know, like a lot of people think that, oh, once you see psychiatrist, you are crazy or like a gila in our common thing, right? But actually it is not, right? I think because a lot of people still discriminate for those who have mental health issue, right? I think it makes things worse lah. But actually, for nowadays, I think after pandemic, I do see that a lot of like a new way of evolution and how counseling goes, and also how people can get help, right? So especially the youngster nowadays, right? There are a lot of apps, and also a lot of NGO, they start to launch certain apps, you know, which is like more on the go, you know. I think some of it is actually Plus Vibe Malaysia. They offer like a listening, there's they call vibers lah, you know. Basically, you can always reach out to the vibers anytime. Hey, I want to talk to someone, you know. Of course, we take care of privacy and confidentiality lah, because some of the youngsters nowadays, right, they don't want to see a counselor because they feel like, oh, what if like the counselor is not taking care of confidentiality. But actually, right, all the professionals, they have to, you know, to practice the integrity in whatever works that they are doing lah. So one is actually reaching out through apps. I think if you notice, right, Befriender is the one at the hotline that always taking care of the people who are experiencing suicidal thing and stuff, right? They also can offer emotional help. Nowadays, I think under Malaysian government initiative, right, they call, there is one talian, tell me the hotline called Talian Kasih, right? Some people, they just, you can just call them 24/7, and then you just can start talking and share about your concern. I think one of the thing, I think for IMU student, basically, like, I know all of you aware about IMU mental health hotline. So this is 24/7 mental health hotline. You just can call anytime if you think you need emotional support lah, right? So I couldn't say that maybe, or this is one of another option, right? But actually it is good actually if you can talk and also to a professional help. So at least we are there to further support you in whatever situation that you are experiencing lah. A lot of people misconception like, oh, when I have to go see counselor, right, I must have like a worst scenario already. If like simple no need lah, right? Why have to talk, right? But of course sometimes we find out that, oh, I already share with my friend, I already share with my family member, but it doesn't seem like to get it. So of course sometimes it's okay, if you are willing to try out to talk to strangers completely, right? At least who know that they can able to process what has been going on in your mind, thing and stuff lah. So it is not a it's a good thing actually. You can try, right? So of course options always there lah. There's another option as well. You guys have a right to choose whichever option that is best suits you better lah. But don't delay on getting help. This is one of the message that I would like to say. Mm.
So like example, we're gonna pull up have you noticed the I Knew Confession page on Instagram?
Oh yes, I know about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've been seeing quite a lot of trigger warnings where people are feeling depressed, anxiety, and issues, right? So, like, as the IMU counselor, do you guys take notice of this and then approach these confessioners?
Okay, so basically, right, when we talk about IMU confession, right, why is confession, right? It's for people freely to say whatever thing that they want to say, right? That's why confession, right? So of course the things about confession, right, they all are anonymous. We couldn't get track who are they actually, right? Even though the admin also wouldn't know who are they, right? So basically, one thing that we do actually now to prevent things from worst thing could happen, right? Because I know I'm actually advisor for peer support club in IMU. I'm not sure whether you have heard about peer support club. So peer support club is a club under SDU, also under counseling unit in IMU. We train all of them. They are also IMU student lah, about with the active listening skill, about helping skill, about how to talk to someone who's suicide. So we have this online training yearly basis lah. So now our club, that club is actively reaching out to those confessor in confession page. So basically, like say some people say, hey, I feel so down, I don't know where to get help, life is just shit lah, that kind of thing, this kind of word that they're putting there, right? So
Yeah.
usually there will be a peer supporter. They will reply towards that confession using IMU peer support club account lah. So they usually they just try to normalize their feeling and also say, hey, it's okay, whatever things that you're feeling is okay. If you want to talk to someone, you can always drop us email, also come to SDU, and also you guys can call IMU mental health hotline. So this is the way how we try to prevent, because at the end we couldn't trace who is this person, but we hope with this simple message that they are given to that confessor, it could make them feel a little bit relief, or maybe they could consider to come and talk to counselor. So that's how it works lah. And actually as you know about this thing, and also we are trying to reach out to them lah. But of course they're very limited because there are a lot of limitation in reaching out under confession page.
So,
Yeah.
is there like an easier way a person can do exactly what they're doing on the confession page, but directly to the SDU instead?
Again, Sam, you are saying?
So, like, is it like how does the confession page just that people just talk about how they're feeling and then completely anonymous? Is it possible that they can do the same anonymous thing towards the SDU instead? So they remain anonymous, but they directly chat with you guys.
Oh, actually, right, for SDU, we have a certain process before a student can register under us lah. Because it's a compulsory process, once person, if you want to be SDU client, right, there are a few things that we have to do. One is about, we got to get your biography, of course, like your basic name, your ages, thing and stuff, because I think this is a part and parcel of like counseling process, right? And secondly, we usually SG we do a mini assessment lah. I think last time we used DAS 21 as assessment. It's just for reference lah. Usually, we are not encouraging anyone to just email us and say anonymously, right? Usually, this one, student can go to talk to me email if they want to do so. Yeah, because talk to me email, right? We offer a listening space and they can just be anonymous. This is for student lah, but I think a lot of student in IMU, they are not aware about this service provided by peer supporters. So SDU, if you're reaching out to us, we will ask you to register and also complete all the registration process lah before we can proceed to see or assign to any of available counselor in SDU. So this is how it works in SDU lah.
So like in the, I'm so sorry, my clock is ringing. So for the SEU, you guys don't have a anonymous version of chatting with you guys, but the peer support club also doesn't offer any of those.
Yeah, peer support offer the anonymous, not to say instant chat, you know, we offer anonymous if they want to be anonymous, but they have to email to talk to me at imu.edu.my. So that is our official email, so student can go and also reach out there if they want to be anonymous. But we, as for now, we don't have like a capacity to do like a very instant chat, that kind of stuff yet lah. Maybe in future we can consider things like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end the recording for this part here, and then we need to start a separate recording for the post video questions.
Okay, can.